Hi everyone, welcome to Pivotal Stories here at SpringOne Platform 2018. My guest is Michael Dell. Michael is Chairman, CEO of Dell Technologies. Welcome.
Great to be with you, great to be here.
Absolutely, thanks for coming on. And I understand this is your first time at SpringOne Platform. Tell us a little bit about your impressions of the event.
Well, it's a fantastic event, great community of developers here, and to see the vibrancy of the community and all the new releases that are coming out. It's fantastic to see customers on stage telling their stories and of their journeys and their progress. Of course, I watched a number of the previous stories from prior years and been to a number of other Pivotal related events, but this is really super to see just how strong the community is. And look, I think there's a bigger thing going on right now in the world where people are figuring out the importance of software to express competitive differentiation, the importance of data, and that's just driving a real renaissance and change inside organizations today.
And we've had the chance to speak with a number of Pivotal customers over the last few days, but I'm curious your impressions when you speak to customers. What do they express to you about both the reasons that they're pursuing their digital transformation, but also what are some of their biggest challenges and how can Pivotal and Dell work together to help solve those?
Well, I think all companies are increasingly in quick or dead businesses, change or die type businesses, and the importance of software and data in that, and how do you change the culture of an organization and the processes to be able to react very rapidly and get back on offense as these organizations change. So reimagining a company with all this information, with all the data, that really is what the digital transformation is all about. So companies are looking to get, to regain agility and pick up speed. One of the things that we've done with Dell EMC and Pivotal and VMware together is we created this Pivotal ready architecture. And of course, as customers go down this journey of, I want to have cloud native apps, they look for a developer friendly way to create these applications in a cloud agnostic, cloud neutral way. And they figure out it's multi-cloud, right? It's not going to be all here, all in the public cloud or all in the private cloud. It's going to be both. The Pivotal ready architecture really came about as customers said, how do I quickly stand up Pivotal Cloud Foundry on top of my VMware, on top of my Dell EMC infrastructure? And so we've made this very easy, taken it from months to weeks and days, built on a pre-tested, pre-configured VxRail platform, which is a super high volume platform for us. And so we have lots of great customers like the US Air Force, Raytheon Project, and many, many others that are now standing this up. And again, built on the great foundations of Cloud Foundry, the Pivotal Container Service, right? VMware vSphere, Dell EMC infrastructure. So these are really very, very strong, tested ingredients built together, make it easy for customers to, deploy and scale to volume.
So reduce that time to value, so they're up and running faster. Talk a little bit about that multi-cloud or hybrid cloud strategy that a lot of enterprises are pursuing, and specifically how PRA, the Pivotal Ready architecture, helps them achieve that.
The challenge is you're not going to put everything all in one place, right? And actually cloud is not even a place, it's an operating model. And as you software define everything, there are really at least 4 deployment models for all customers, right? One is at the location of their customer, right, where code may exist. The second is in the country of the customer itself, and because of GDPR and other data sovereignty rules, increasingly, data and applications have to live in any one of 180 plus countries. The third model is where a company itself can host the data and the applications, but customers don't necessarily want those commingled together with other customers because they don't want to have other people benefiting from that information. And the fourth is you put it anywhere you want. Well, that's the public cloud. they increasingly figure out, hey, it's going to be a workload by workload discussion. And by the way, I want the ability to move things back and forth at the time and place of my choosing. Pivotal-ready architecture is the best way to stand up those on-premise and colo instances of Cloud Foundry. And look, we're seeing 80 to 90% of the application instances are running in on-premise and colo. Even though many customers may stand up at the beginning and say, oh, I'm cloud first, everything to public cloud. When they go off and they try to do that, they realize, well, in many cases it's much more expensive, doesn't meet the security or performance requirements that we have. And for the predictable parts of the workload, the Pivotal-ready architecture and on-premise systems are incredibly efficient. Of course, driven this hyper automation of infrastructure and software where infrastructure is code. Our data center business for Dell Technologies last quarter grew 24% year over year, and we're the largest in the world. There are lots of customers that are absolutely embracing this multi-cloud future.
Yeah, I like what you said about cloud is more of an operating model and not a specific place. It's a way of developing software and supporting applications. You mentioned Raytheon. I wonder, could you maybe talk about Raytheon or any other customer examples you have, show some of the value that they're getting from PRA?
The value is really in speed and time to market. And if you think about the journey of building your own, right? It's like going to Home Depot and getting a bunch of parts, right? And we can do that. We can just drop off all the parts and knock yourself out. But most customers are telling us, no, we actually prefer a pre-tested, pre-configured solution, and we don't really care about all that stuff. We want to get the value of the applications and the data faster. And so, there's actually been a bigger trend here where customers don't really want the silos of infrastructure and different elements of hardware and software. They want these solutions so that they can much more rapidly implement them and also scale them with the right security, the right automated patching, and I'd say one throat to choke as well, right? Because when things inevitably don't work exactly the way they're supposed to, you want folks who are going to stand behind it and make it work. That's what we do.
Yep, absolutely. So I wonder if we could turn a little bit to the partnership between Pivotal and Dell Technologies, with Dell EMC, VMware. In terms of kind of go-to-market and specifically working with customers, what's the real value of bringing them all together under one umbrella? How does that help customers, and how are we actually executing that on the ground?
So we see customers simultaneously undergoing 4 big transformations: digital transformation, IT, workforce, and security. And the digital transformation is really sort of the first among equals, with all those, because it is sort of the plot inside all these companies. It's not really an IT project. It's the focus of the chief executive and the business line executives, and companies are having to reimagine themselves. In that world, Pivotal is really the tip of the spear in terms of how these companies are thinking about evolving their capabilities. And so, bringing together the capabilities of Pivotal, the incredible infrastructure capabilities of Dell EMC and VMware, this is really resonating incredibly well. So we've got our 40,000 plus sellers around the world, bringing this to customers, and it's been extremely well received.
And as we wrap up, I'm just curious, what has been maybe some of the biggest surprises or lessons learned for you over the last couple of years working with Pivotal and some of the other members of the Dell Technologies family? What have been the biggest pleasant surprises, interesting learnings that you've taken away from that, and where do you see this going in the future?
The better together is clearly working. We're growing at growth rates that are far elevated from our industry, double-digit growth in every product, in every customer segment, geography, and country all over the world, which is great. Events like this are fantastic because I think many customers struggle with change management, right? They'll come to one of our events, this event, or the Cloud Foundry Summits, or Dell Technologies world or VM world, and they'll see this sort of blizzard of new and interesting things, and then they kind of say, well, how do I do it, right? And change management and culture, and so they actually want to learn from others, and they want, sometimes, in many cases, our help in professional services in helping them implement these things. So, we're off to a great start. It's a 2-year anniversary of the creation of Dell Technologies. Pivotal, VMware, Dell EMC all go really well together. By the way, we've got other members of the family too, and so the collective, strength of the combined capabilities are unparalleled. I think that's another reason why we're winning in the marketplace.
Fantastic. Well, Michael Dell, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.